So before I go into the detail of the topic, I just want to welcome a few people. We have had lots of you join us in the last couple of weeks. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new, if you are old, if you have been here as a founding member, I celebrate you for taking the step to come and join this fabulous fellowship. Okay, so I want you to just drop in the comments for me wherever you are watching from. So we know, where people are watching from around the world. And of course, if you are catching this on the replay, feel free to actually just put your comments in afterwards. And then what I will do is I will go in and I will answer any questions that you might have. Okay, guys, so what is it that we're going to be talking about tonight? So we're on a thread of talking about how to sign on new clients and how to get fabulous of signing on new clients. And I thought it would be really a nice carry on really was to really bring the subject to you of, the steps to soulful copywriting that gets you sales. And, if you know anything about business, then of course, you know that it's really important to understand the sales cycle, to understand all the marketing, the digital marketing, online and offline methodologies. But one of the most important skills that I believe that you need as an entrepreneur today is the ability to either copyright, ability to get your message out to your market in a way that makes sense to them. And it's not that I'm going to be here to teach you how to become copywriters, because for some of you that might not be the thing that you are about, and perhaps you might go down the road of outsourcing it, and that's absolutely fine. But really, you've got to be able to write copy that speaks to the heart and connects and results in more sales for yourself. Okay, so let me just ask you a question, and I'd like you to put your comments in the answers. And before I ask you the questions, what I'll probably do is answer all of your questions, if you have any, during the course of this teaching at the end when I come offline. So then that won't break my flow. I'm able to just get the message out to you and give you back your time as quick as possible. Okay, so answer this question then. Do you know, if you'd like to just pop it in the comments for me, do you know exactly who your ideal clients are that want to work with you? Do you have a handle on who you are serving, basically? All right. I just want you to give me a yes, not sure, or need a bit more help. And the second question is if you want to know exactly how to speak to them so that they are then queuing up to work with you more and more. Okay, so the first question, do you know exactly who your ideal clients are? Yes, maybe you're not sure. And then the second question is, do you want to know how to have your ideal clients running to work with you every single time? Okay, so what I'm going to share with you tonight is really based on the work of a few people that I've learned from, who I deem as gurus in the marketing field, that I've personally invested my money in, coaching in their programs, in order to be able to learn these techniques, to be able to then apply them to my own business, and of course, applying them within my framework of my dream business launchpad to my paying clients. Okay, so they get a full open curtain view so that they too can enhance their ability to sign on new clients fabulously and to develop great branding and lead generation methods, as well as copywriting. So for those of you who are new to me, my name is Nettie Bryan, and I'm the founder of Power Up Coaching and the creator of the #1 Ministry to Marketplace coach training program for faith-filled females, and the Dream Business Launchpad, which is the vehicle that I use to actually get you moving from ministry into the marketplace. And this program is specifically designed to serve women of faith who want more, women who want to step out and step up to operate in their full calling while still honoring God and creating financial independence and building and serving their community and carrying out, the Great Commission. So I like to consider myself as a faith disruptor. And how many of you, have taken on that identity? You're a faith disruptor in your niche. And basically lead an army of faith-filled women just like you into your true calling, into your true destiny, so that you're no longer undercharging and over-delivering and selling yourselves short. Now, I've been coaching women and men all over the world in life and business for the past 10 years, helping my clients to grow in confidence, up-leveling their personal lives, their relationships, their businesses, and ministry successes, okay? And one of the big missions that I do have is to be able to equip 10,000 plus faith-filled females to know who they are, to start charging what they're worth, to help them remove money guilt and build their faith so that they can serve at their highest and best self in honor to God. And the way I do that is through the Dream Business Launchpad program. I'm providing practical, tactical, and strategic tools to fulfill the heavenly vision of making disciples. Okay, so that's really, what I'm about. And I totally believe as well that when soulful and God-conscious women have money, lives get changed, communities get built, children and families get money pumped into them so that they can become more educated and understand about developing themselves, especially in this changing times that we are in. So much more an advocate of being able to create and generate your own wealth. It's so important. All right, so I'm happy to serve you guys here in the tribe. And of course, those of you who have engaged in coaching programs with me, thank you so very much. So let me just grab a sip of water. I'd like you to also buckle up, get yourselves ready. If you don't have a pen and paper, you might want to get one. This is one of those masterclasses or one of those trainings that is meant to be an overview, but as I do, I serve. So you might want to write some things down, okay? So we're going to be talking about the 6 steps to soulful copywriting that gets you sales, copywriting that speaks to the heart, connects and results in more sales for you. Now, doing copywriting or making or developing products or systems around my gift was not something that I had thought of, when I started out in my ministry business. 10 years ago, all I wanted to do was serve people. Of course, I just wanted to pastor people. I just wanted to go around doing good. But little did I know that there was some additional skills that I needed to be able to do that effectively and well, and to be able to bring in enough revenue for me to keep on doing that, rinse and repeat in that particular cycle. So think about this. When you were sat wherever you were, and you heard the call of God on your life as well to take your gifts and your talents from the church to the marketplace, what was your expectation? All right. Or did you have a notion that it would be easy because it was backed by God himself? I mean, again, that's what we think, don't we, when we're sitting in church, yeah? Yet one thing you may have failed to realize is that there are so many different components to running a ministry inside of church in relation to running a ministry business in the marketplace. And I'm not talking about that today, but this is where I start with my clients on the Ministry to Marketplace coach training, okay? So one of the things that I've learned in my sort of 10 years of ministry business and taking lessons from my previous 20 plus years in employment was that it takes a multitude of skills to run a business, a company or a corporation. And it actually doesn't matter what kind of entrepreneurial kingdom pursuit you are called to. It's not as easy as just saying, I'm called to serve and let me go do it. There is so much more things that you need to learn, know, and master. And especially as we are seeing more and more women entrepreneurs, taking a lead role now about their futures and their finances, there is a greater need that I'm seeing for business coaching and entrepreneurial coaching in particular for this particular market. But as someone who is new, or even if you are an established, entrepreneur, there's some fundamental things that you need to have in place before you can start to see the success that you have been dreaming of. And that is, a great flagship program. You need to have your offers and your pricing sorted. You need to have your branding, done, from website design to, online, offline branding, your collateral, your niching, dealing with your own money-ish, your back office, your systems, and of course, knowing who you're going to serve and how you're actually going to get to those people who you want to serve, interested in what you have to offer. So there's so many things that you need to consider when it comes to starting your dream ministry. Okay, all sounds easy, right? That's what I thought when I first started. But what I found over the years in my own business, and of course, helping others, is that I had to learn a plethora of skills that in the early days, I had no idea what I was doing. I was frustrated and sometimes, focused on the wrong things too much. And it was just not really good because I thought I could just step out and it would all fall into place. But I quickly had to learn, okay? And even today, I'm going to confess, I still get that feeling at times, because everything is always changing. Every year there's a new marketing method that comes out. Things are always moving. And if you're not an avid learner or multifaceted, then, you're going to struggle, or you might make mistakes that will end up costing you thousands of pounds if you get it wrong on too many occasions. So today, I thought I'd bring this to you and carry on the theme of sales and marketing that we started. And I thought I'd share today's Tuition Tuesday on some essential skills that I learned to help me in my marketing to write copy that wins the hearts and minds of readers and thus converts to more sales. And if you learn anything in your business, you definitely would benefit from at least getting the basic understanding of this until you can actually afford to hire someone perhaps to do it for you, because you're not going to actually enjoy every single part of business. That's just the way it goes, because you might be called to, like, for example, I believe I'm a great coach. I believe I'm a fantastic coach, a world-class coach, all right, in lots of different areas. But there might be some areas like I hate spreadsheets. I really do. I don't like doing administrative tasks like that I find time consuming. So I hire people to do that for me, or my family helps, okay? Now, when I started my business, I didn't even think about the detail of what was required, but I love writing and I love connecting to the hearts of people. I love speaking, and I love absolutely helping people to connect the dots. So those are my kinds of strengths, okay? So let's get into the subject of 6 steps to soulful copywriting that gets you sales, okay? So as you know, I always have to speak from a perspective of, bringing you the word first and then bring it into the practical and the reality of where we are today. Okay, so here are 6 high-level areas of copywriting that you need to know and master in order to write soulful sales copy that serves the needs of your clients and also speaks directly to their hearts, which kind of then makes the selling part for you feel more like service, because it can be delivered with what I call grace and ease. And that's what I'm about. You hear me say that, very often in my teachings and in my trainings. I don't like hard work. I don't like sleazy sales. And I think that as Christian entrepreneurs, that we have the ability to bring what I call soulful sales to the forefront. Okay. Now, let's have a look at, old school sales, but from a biblical perspective first. So before we go into the 21st century version, I want to share from a place of spirit, and I love to do this, and show you how there is nothing new under the sun. You've heard that term before. There's nothing new under the sun. And the art of great marketing or concept of client attraction has actually been around for years and years, and even in Bible days, okay? Now, some of you don't know, but I'm a former frontline pastor, and I've been a student of the word for many years, okay? I've been to seminary and I've learned all the different ologies that you can think of. You've got demonology, Christology, anthropology, etc., okay? But none of them I've learned are any good, think about this, unless I've got the ability to articulate them in a language and depth that the average person can understand and relate to. So I've got to be able to turn all of those ologies into language that a 5-year-old can understand, okay? So for example, I would speak differently to a new believer than I would to an avid, learned Christian who understands the deeper things of the Spirit, for example. Like I might pray differently with someone who is a new believer or new to prayer, who perhaps, doesn't have the understanding of speaking in tongues, if that's your belief, or who didn't experience the baptism of fire, yet who doesn't understand, of course, the power that might be associated with that, because it might be too much and it might be unwise for me to do that, because it might scare them. Okay, so when you associate this in marketing terms, we don't want to turn potential warm customers into cold customers. So we have to use certain methodologies, certain languages that builds trust and deepens and strengthens the relationship. So if that makes sense, I'd like you to put something in the comments to let me know you're here with me. So think about it this way. Okay, I've got a bit of an analogy for you here. Do you know why the Bible, first of all, is still the #1 bestseller? All right, I researched this and it just really blew me away when I thought about it. It's because of its ability to tell great stories, to provide insights for life and living. It has the ability to convert, convict, and transform lives powerfully in every corner of the planet. Think about it. It makes you think outside of the box. It makes you take on attitudes and beliefs that were never yours before you knew Christ. It's full of these wonderful things. Look at these wonderful things that the Word of God is full of. Promise, testimonies, case studies, conviction, instruction, consequences, and a clear call to action leading to transformation. All right, it states the drawbacks of staying as you are or taking up the offer of salvation. Huge amounts of things that are very synonymous with marketing and copywriting. So what does the Bible really do? It basically gives you the rich results to the big problem of sin and a degenerating world that we live in. So when you think about the call to action then is repent, make a new decision, or do this action to avoid this pain. For example, Noah built an ark. When he listened to God, he had to build that ark straight away. Why? Because there was a flood coming, okay? And Noah then had to invite people in. Some believed, others didn't. So some paid the consequences because they didn't come on board, and the people that heard were safe, all right? So think about it, right? So the call to action, definitely evident in the word. The offer being accept Christ, okay? Why? So you can have eternal life. Consequence, if you don't, continue to live in sin and be in darkness, okay? So then you have the invitation. Why do we invite people to church? Why do you think we invite people to church? Because we strongly believe in the message. So much so that it's exactly the same as if you had a product or service. You have to believe in your product or service that your prospective converts, and this is what I'm going to call them just for a moment, your prospective converts need to hear right now. Okay, so you've got to have that conviction about what it is that you are bringing to the table, and you've got to be able to create your copy that covers all of those things. And then, of course, the transformation then and the result is that they will live forever in Christ and be saved. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so the revelation moment in that is to remember people won't pay you for coaching. They pay you for transformation, okay? So your copy has to show them the consequences, the benefits as a result, so that they will get them from working with you. But you do need to take them through a process. All right. And one of the mentors that I listen to, his name's Ray Edwards, and he says that if you can write good copy sales, you can practically write your own paycheck. And I totally agree with that. Let me say that again. He says that if you can write good sales copy, you can practically write your own paycheck. And if you agree with that, I'd like you to put something in the comments to say yes. Okay, so what have we learned so far? We've learned that marketing is all about good communications. It's about getting your message across fully. And the problem, that we have today, at the time that we live in, is that we live in an over-communicated world. We're bombarded, guys, every single day with messaging. And when I did a bit of research around this, it said that we get about 3,000 to 5,000 messages of any kind on any platform in front of our eyes every single week, between 3,000 to 5,000, if not more. Okay, that's a lot of messaging that you've got to cut through. So you know what I'm saying? If you are not skilled at doing great copy yourselves and you can't afford to hire someone to do it for you, you'll need to learn how to write great copy. Okay, and that's what this teaching is really all about right now. Okay, so one thing you need to remember is that sales conversations or sales copy and successful marketing are going to be the lifeblood of your business. So these are the areas that constantly need to have your attention. Okay, you need to be constantly reviewing them, you need to be constantly up leveling them, checking your KPIs, for what's working and what's not working. I do mine all of the time. I'm always checking in with my peers just to confirm that my messaging is actually making sense. And you got to look at that for yourselves. Does your message clearly state in simple forms what it does on the tin? Now, let me give you some examples of some really kind of, badly put together messaging. And then I'll give you some shortened versions, because when you're messaging, your audience needs to be able to, within 3 to 5 seconds, know exactly what it is you're trying to say. So here's the really long version. I help women of faith pursue their calling by coaching them via my ministry to marketplace coach training in business strategies, which enables them to have more time, freedom, to do more for their families, still honor God, become profitable, serve the people they love as part of the Great Commission. Okay, here's the short version. I coach women of faith to build and launch a profitable dream business they are proud of, that honors God and releases financial burdens so they can do more for their families and the kingdom. Here's another short version. I coach women of faith through my ministry to marketplace training using my expert signature system, the Dream Business Launchpad. Another, I help women of God take their ministry and show them how to build their dream business in the marketplace. And this is the shortest. I coach high achieving women of faith to build business God's way. So which one of those do you think resonates with you more? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Okay, if you want to put something in the comments, that would be really, really great. Okay, so there are many different ways to say the same thing, right? This is what I was really trying to show you with that example. But what one is going to be right for your audience? And I'd love you guys to actually do this exercise, is to maybe write in the comments, what is it that you do? If you can sum it up in one sentence, what you do and who you help, okay? If not, if you haven't got your messaging right in that area yet, do that as a piece of homework. But we need to look at really why our messaging is important, because if it's not right, we're not going to get good conversion rates, okay? This is a whole training in itself, talking about conversion rates and copy and everything like that, but I'll give you as much as I can. You've got to keep a handle on your conversion rates, i.e. how your messaging is connecting with the audience that you're aiming it at, and also how that audience is then converting into being people that work with you. All right, so let's have a quick look at the word converts. Okay, where do we first hear this, or where are we familiar with this word? And for us, it comes from a biblical concept. Okay, so why do we call new believers new converts? Why do you think we do that? And as you know, guys, I love teaching so much this way. I'm always an over-deliverer, because I get one revelation on another revelation and it just turns into a Sunday sermon. So forgive me. So here goes. Converting means, the dictionary definition is to change the form, the character, or the function of something, okay? And it's also mean, of course, to change a person who has been persuaded to change their religious faith or other beliefs, okay? So it's about proselytizing, meaning to convert someone to another opinion, okay? And why do we do that? Why do we tell people about our faith, okay? We tell people about our faith because we so believe in the power of it, of the message, right? We share about our faith because we believe it's important to share with our prospective new converts, all right? So that's the reason why we do that. So in fact, every single female entrepreneur who is a Christian, he's also have a marketing edge about them. All right. So you've got to bring your conviction to convert in a way that makes a decision to follow you. So when you're dealing with your clients, you've got to have that same passion about what you do. So in other words, you have to love your business, you have to love your people enough to be able to want to convert them into your clients, okay? And think about the way Jesus did it, all right? He brought conviction on people in a way that makes them take a decision to follow him, all right? Jesus was so graceful in his converting of the disciples. He simply said 2 words. His call to action was simply follow me. And what was the rich result in that? He said, and I will make you fishers of men. All right. So in Matthew 4:18, it says the 2 brothers were fishing by the Sea of Galilee. And as we know, Jesus was actually just walking by, saw them and called them and said those famous words. All right. So my thinking was this, what on earth did he do to persuade them, to follow him? I don't have time to go into the exegesis of that right now, but you guys know the scripture that I'm talking about, right? So as Christians, we share the good news of the gospel because 1, we truly believe that Jesus' word tells us to believe in the power of the word to change lives. So here's a concept to keep Christ at the center of your business. You've got to consider and think of yourself as a shepherd and not as a coach. In particular, when it comes to marketing, in particular when it comes to attracting your new clients, okay? You've got to think like a servant leader. Don't be like the wolves out there because, we're in a huge marketplace where there are so many clandestine ways of being able to market, but we want to stay authentic, we want to stay soulful, we want to stay gracious and, be able to connect with people in a way that is going to become palatable for them in connecting and working with us, that makes them feel comfortable, okay? So what do we need to do? We need to lead as women of infinite power to bring your message of light and hope for whatever you're aspiring to get to your clients' results in. And what I found is the best way to do this, the soulful way, is to think of your clients like sheep, okay? But if you're new or a little way into your business, I don't know how you might feel nervous about it. I don't know if you've done your marketing right. It will break through all of the most unlikely objections that your potential client might have as well. Okay. So the first thing that you need to know or master is what type of client do you want to actually work with? And this can be done via a detailed client avatar exercise. And I don't mean just like the demographic collection type, but I mean a real detailed client avatar exercise. I'm not going to go into that right now. We can do a bit more of that in the training program. But once you do know this and you know how to get their attention, there are some practical things that needs to happen, of course. So let me tell you about the things and what not to do first. Don't start with talking about being stuck. And here's why. If you want to build a profitable ministry business, you need to aim your marketing at the type of clientele who sees the need for change. That's really key, guys. And the second bit, that they are ready, okay? Remember, this doesn't mean that we ignore the ones who aren't ready. That's not at all, because as the Bible tells us, salvation comes to all eventually. And salvation means deliverance from harm, ruin, or loss, okay? Now, another helpful tip is around aspiration marketing. If you've heard that term before, pop it in the clients. If it's new to you, in the comments. If it's new to you, then let me know I haven't heard of it, okay? You need to lead with where your ideal client wants to be. That's what aspiration marketing is about. It's about talking to their future. So we're not leading from a place of pain. I mean, it's important to highlight that, but that is not the space that we lead from. Okay. I tend to lead if ever you've had an opportunity to come on a discovery call with me, that is exactly how I lead. I lead by talking to your future, where you want to be, what's most appealing to you. And then we look at the consequence or the cost of not getting that problem solved for you, both practically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. Okay. And I talk about what the possibilities, I speak into your future. And in fact, I like to call it, I prophesy that you can do this and that what you're dreaming about is entirely possible. because we're destined to have our heart's desires and more, right? But of course, that's the verbal communication, or what I call verbal copy. So it takes my faith in my offer, knowing totally that it's solid, that it's tried, it's tested, matched with your aspirations and your heart's desires to get you to your place of destination safely. And as coaches and female entrepreneurs, our job is to lift up and elevate our potential clients, okay, to a place of what we call instant possibility. Okay, so you kind of need to think about instant breakthroughs the moment that they, have come into contact with you, whether it's through written, verbal, video, whatever means of contact that they have to see some instant possibility and some instant breakthrough. And that's what we call aspiration marketing. All right, so let me just take a sip of water. If this is making sense to you, I'd just like you to pop something in the comments to let me know. All right, so how do we write copy that speaks to the area of your ideal clients? There's a few things that we need to do first. Key thing is this, you might want to write these down, is interview them. Interview people who are like your ideal client. You'll almost always find that your ideal client is a younger version of yourself. Okay, so think about what journey you went through. Step into the position of other. All right. And ask yourself these questions. What was it like for you when you were in that particular situation? And then answer them. Okay. Ask your prospective client specific questions. Get deeper with them. Pull out their hopes, pull out their dreams, pull out their desires and also their fears, okay? Find out what's important to them, find out what they prioritize and why. Find out what they value, find out what they believe and what they hold true for themselves. Also find out what they feel holds them back. And when you do these 6 things, it gives you a lot of insight, great insight into their world. And then you can actually start using this in your marketing copy and actually speaking directly to either their pain or their heart's desires, which is the way that I would like to go. So think of it this way. When you have, when you need to be reminded of where you are right now, it's kind of, especially if you're stuck in a painful situation. Imagine you've not dealt with something and you should have done it, but you keep getting that person reminding you, haven't you done this yet? Or haven't you dealt with that yet? It doesn't feel good, does it? It really doesn't feel good. So just as you perhaps might not feel good about that thing that they're pressing, your clients also won't feel good about the thing that you are presenting to them. So, excuse me. Let's just consider, the fact that people know that they are stuck, but they don't necessarily need to be reminded of it. Okay. I wanted to take a leaf out of Jesus's book. He didn't use that strategy. He completely painted the picture of the future. He looked at what someone was doing and said, if you do this instead, this is the results that you're going to get. All right. And how many times have you had your own personal elephant in the room in your life come up? The thing that you don't necessarily want to talk about or be reminded of. And the more it gets highlighted, the more you're inclined to dig your heels in. All right. But the moment someone starts looking at your past that starts speaking to your future place, your future state, your future dream, you start to respond in a different way and your ears might prick up. You show more interest, you listen. And most people are not necessarily hearing your message because it's perhaps not clear enough to tell them how. All right. So you kind of need to do a bit of an analysis around your messaging. And one thing I do know is that when you come from a place of aspiration marketing, your clients are going to absolutely love you. Okay. They'll be more inclined to do the work because from the moment they connect with you, they trust you and you're not going to remind them constantly of where they currently are. But instead, you're going to hold them as powerful in their future space. So I've got a lot to get through here. Okay. So as Christian entrepreneurs, we're called to call those things that be not as though they are. And being in a service to your clients by raising their aspirations and ambitions and focusing on their heart's desires is definitely, I believe, the right way to go about it. So here is what my mentor taught me and what I teach my clients as well. When we're working with success orientated women, here are a few things that they value. Okay, you might want to write these down too. They value speed and shortcuts. They value curated packages. They value being seen and heard. They value personal intimacy. They value having their goals taken seriously, so that they'll be able to tell a serious coach with weight of experience behind them and a robust solution to support them to get them from A to B in relation to someone who's offering lightweight offers. Okay, so you kind of need to know exactly what you're offering is substantial and can do what it says on the tin. Because the thing is, people can really pretty up their marketing and their sales copy, but behind them, when it comes to the deliverables, their system might not be as robust and as solid as what it sounds like. Okay, so it's really key that we take those things seriously. So what is the 6 steps to soulful copywriting that gets you sales? I'm going to kind of go through them as we come down and come to a close right now. So in this first step, when you do this well, you'll be able to connect with and understand your ideal client. And they're going to feel as if they've been listened to, that they've been taken seriously. However, if you don't do this well, you'll be missing the mark and may not hold the attention of your prospective clients. Okay, so why is getting the attention of your ideal client important? There is so much competition, guys, that you need to keep them engaged and by being laser focused. Okay, and the first thing that I'd like to bring to your attention is about ascertaining the person, the problem, and the pain. So the first one is about ascertaining. Okay, so you kind of need to find out exactly who you're dealing with, who you want to serve, what their problem is, and what their pain is as well. So who is it you're trying to reach with your message? You've got to understand their problem, okay? And definitely have your product speak into that, because that's what your product is here to do. That's what your expert signature system, if you have one, is designed to do, okay? And therefore, the pain, that problem is causing them, it's important that you understand that too. Because when you can combine all of those elements, then they're going to see you as somebody they are going to want to sign up with and say yes to. All right. Here's a quote from Ziggy Ziglar. He said that selling is essentially a transfer of feelings. So you've got to be empathetic. You've got to get into that zone where they're able to express to you exactly what their pain is. The next thing that you need to do when you do this right, you're able to show your prospective client the contrast between where they are and where they want to be. All right. And that is about taking account for the consequences of not getting the problem solved, and then elevate them and take account of their heart's desires. Okay. Again, the aspirational marketing aspect of it. Okay. So find out where they want to aspire to become and have. And this section, this point here, point number 2, is absolutely crucial and a key step in the marketing process. Okay, so take account for the consequences of not getting the problem solved. Okay, and amplify their aspirations of where they want to be. Number 3, it's about telling an anecdote, all right, or a story. You've got to be able to bring a client story in there of how, or your personal story, actually. The best story to start with is your own. How did you overcome this problem? How did you find the way out? How did you then use that same problem to build your signature system to then teach other people how to find their way out too? So you've got your anecdote, you've got your signature system, or your solution, all right? And then number 4, comes the alternative result. So in other words, what's the outcome? What's the transformation? Okay, you've got to be able to clearly articulate the results that your product or service will bring, providing real-time testimonies, because when you provide real-time testimonies or case studies, that is going to strengthen your case for when you are prospecting in the future. All right. And here's a revelation moment for you. Remember, what people are buying is transformation. So, you've got to have the right vehicle to get them to their destination. Okay. So please remember this. It's important not to get the vehicle confused with the destination as well. And how we do that, we're asking 3 questions. Question 1 is, has this person done this for themselves before? When in the minds of your clients, this is the process that they're going through when they're in that discovery or that consultation call with you. They're asking you, in their minds, has this person done this before? What is the evidence? Have they done it for somebody else? Okay. Have they been able to teach other people? These are the things that are going on in the buyer's mind. Will they be able to teach me and show me and coach me? So if you're able to answer those 3 questions in your copy, through your testimonies, through your results, through your story, definitely through your expert signature system, through you taking account of their consequences and their heart's desires, then they're more likely already going through the majority of the buying process. Okay, so then that moves them quite nicely then onto what I call the antidote or the answer. And that's about you describing exactly what your offer is going to do for them. All right, so you might need to have one great big bullet that says something like, here is what you're going to get. And then you're going to dig down into the detail of describing your offer deliverables. And the key point to remember here is to also make sure that you tie it back to the transformation or the alternative outcome that they are looking for. Okay, if you get all of these steps right, then you're going to be so much on your way to closing the sale. So the final step, okay, in the 6-step process is about asking and for them to be in a position to accept your solutions. You've got to ask the customer to buy from you, okay? But you've got to ask it in a way with by giving them step-by-step instructions of what to do next. That's crucial. If you don't tell them what to do next, they won't know how to buy from you, okay? And it's important that you're not shy about telling your prospective converts this as well, about how to get your offer, where to find your solution, okay? They want the details, so please don't shy away from it. Give them as much details as you possibly can so that they can process the information, and actually it makes the buying decision easier for you. So in that, if they're asking you lots of questions, that is also a good thing, because they're going through those questions because they want to be able to handle any particular objections that they might be having. All right, so that's it. I'm going to leave it there. So to wrap up then, we looked at the 6 steps to Soulful copywriting that gets you sales, copywriting that speaks to the heart, connects and results in more sales, or conversions is what I'm going to call them. We explored the Bible and the connection with marketing today. So guys, if you enjoyed listening to this audio telecast, I want you to pop that in the comments and let me know what your thoughts are around this and how you are now going to look at these 6 steps. You might need to go back on the replay, and how you are going to be implementing these in your own personal copy. So if you've enjoyed this class, why don't you leave a comment, of course, invite a friend, share the group. I'm always inviting, like-minded women, and also you can share this teaching with others that who need to hear it as well. And of course, send them along to nettieb.carteret.com/page/tribe to join, so that they too can get involved in the wonderful things that's happening here in our group. So thank you guys for taking time out, and I so look forward to connecting with you again soon. And as I said, after the recording, I will go back in, have a look at your comments, and answer any specific questions that you may have. Okay, and for those of you who want to jump on a discovery call with me, please feel free to go to my calendar, which can be found at bit.ly/coach with Nettie. That's bit.ly/coach with Nettie. All right, thank you all for joining me on this class, and I'll see you on the next one. Love and blessings.